Just because you paid a certain amount of money does not give you the right to abuse athletes. We've already had 4 incidents in the round 1 of NBA playoffs where fans have treated the athletes like garbage. I'd like to just point out that this is the first time fans are actually allowed back into the stadiums since NBA had a lockdown. The first incident that we had took place in a playoff match between the Washington Wizards and the Philadelphia 76ers. Russell Westbrook, the point guard of Washington Wizards and a superstar, twisted his ankle and was asked by the trainer to go to the locker room to see the damages done to his ankle. On his way to the locker room, he was hit with a bag of popcorn. The second incident that we had was a playoff match between New York Knicks and the Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young, a young rising star and a point guard for the Atlanta Hawks, was inbounding the ball, where he was spat on by one of the New York Knicks fans. The third incident that we had took place in a playoff match between the Utah Jazz and the Memphis Grizzlies. A young rising star and the point guard of Memphis Grizzlies, Ja Morant, he himself was not the one that was abused, but his family was abused by the Utah Jazz fans. He asked his family to come and watch him play for the first time in the NBA playoffs. But sadly, they were hit with racist and sexist remarks by the Utah Jazz fans. And the last incident that we had took place in a playoff match between the Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics. Brooklyn Nets were walking back to the locker room where one of their point guards and superstar, Kyrie Irving, was almost hit with a water bottle. I'd like to give a shout out to all these teams for taking the correct decision and taking the matter seriously by having these fans arrested and banned for life. But we have had fans treating athletes like garbage since the beginning of time. So when sports first started, it was segregated because our society at that time was segregated. We had schools, we had grocery centers, we had churches that were segregated. Meaning we had schools, grocery centers, churches where only colored people went, and we had schools, grocery store, and other places where only white people went. So the society was segregated. One side was colored people, the other side was white people, and they never interacted with each other. And sports was the same back then. We had a league where only white players played, and we had a league where only colored people played. And usually where the white people played was a more popular league because it was on TV, and most of the people usually went to go watch the white people play. But as society was becoming less segregated, as people were coming together, sports did the same thing. They felt there was no need for there to be 2 leagues. There was no need there to be an African American league or the colored people league, and there's no need to be a white people league. We should just combine everything together. That's how you started having MLB. That's how you started having NFL, NBA, where everyone, the best players, played. But fans weren't happy about that. They weren't happy about black players playing in the MLB. They weren't happy about black players playing in the NBA. And they showed their distaste for what was going on by racially abusing the black players. You have the likes of Jackie Robinson, who used to be called the N-word every single time he took to the field. They were told to go back to the league that they played in before. They used to get hate mails. That's right, the teams that they used to play for. So Jackie Robinson, he used to play for the Los Angeles Dodgers. They used to send hate mails to the LA Dodgers saying, you need to cut this player, or we're going to burn down the stadium. We're going to burn down the jerseys of LA Dodgers, and we're going to riot if he plays for the Los Angeles Dodgers. But that didn't change over time. Then we had the likes of the great Bill Russell, one of the greatest basketball players to ever play. And he played for the Boston Celtics. This man, he won 11 championships for the Boston Celtics. And his own fans booed him, racially abused him. They treated him so badly that he did not go to his own jersey retirement, to something that he himself accomplished because they were so racist to the man. And then we had the likes of John Barnes, one of the greatest wingers to play in the English Premier League. He played for Liverpool, and his own fans, his own bloody fans, used to throw bananas at him. They used to boo him. They used to bombard him with the N-word. And we come to now, where we see things like, especially in European football, we see players that are black getting racially abused. We see the likes of Mario Balotelli playing in Italy, where people are holding bananas and mocking him. We have the likes of Raheem Sterling being called the black C-word. We have players that are black if they have a bad game. You can go to their Instagram account and you see people calling them monkey. So this has been going on since the start of time, where athletes have been abused by fans. But why is that? Why are fans treating athletes like garbage? It's because fans feel that they have paid a certain amount of money so they can treat the players how they want to treat them. If they want to be racist to them, they have every right to be racist to them, because I have paid to be here. I've paid for this seat, so I'm going to sit here and I'm going to say everything I can think about to you. It can be racist, it can be sexist, it can be homophobic, it can be anything you can think about in the book, because I have paid my money and have every right to do that. And they also don't see athletes as human beings. They think that they make millions of dollars, they're robots, and they have no feelings. That's not right, is it? Imagine you're working in an office and someone comes in that's taking services from your office, and he comes in and he starts throwing beer at you, all right? And he starts throwing water bottles at you. He doesn't like your skin color, so he starts making comments about your skin color. If you're a female, he doesn't like the point that you as a female are working in an office, so he tells you to go back to the kitchen. He doesn't like your sexual orientation, so he mocks your sexual orientation. Would you then, as a person in that office, be able to do your work, be productive, be mentally okay with all of that nonsense that was said to you? If you're not okay with that, how do you expect another human being, regardless of how much money they make, to be okay with the same thing? I know a lot of people go, well, it's just trash talk, man. It's just trash talk. And that's perfectly fine. Yes, trash talk is perfectly fine to do. You know what? Go ahead and do trash talk. You know what trash talk is? It's going, you are shit, bro. You are so awful at this game. My grandma can play better than you. That's trash talk. Not being racist, not being sexist, not throwing things at a player that can actually hurt them. That's not trash talk. Everyone does trash talk. Athletes talk trash to each other. Trash talk has been okay. Everyone is okay with trash talk. But that's not the same thing as being racist or even like actually hurting players. There are 3 ways we can solve this problem, in my opinion. Number 1, harsher penalties for the people that conduct in racist and abusive behavior. Harsher penalties can include things like being arrested, being banned for life from not only that stadium, but from every stadium in the US and Europe and even around the world. Number 2, harsher penalties for the home team where the act took place, in the sense of losing the game, losing points from the table, losing playoff series, and giving massive fines. And the last and the most important one, in my opinion, is that we grab the person that said the racist thing, that did throw something at the athlete, and we drag him to the center of the court, pitch, or whatever game you're playing, and we get him to repeat what he said to the athlete face to face, and we let the athlete do whatever he wants to the person. He can beat the shit out of him, he can do whatever he wants to that fan. And I promise you, nobody, no fan after that will have the guts to be racist or do anything to the athlete. For the love of God, treat people how you want to be treated.